Hello, welcome to 108 episodes of PubShorts titled Champagne Supernova. I'm very excited about the song that I personally have performed several times, but people do not want to know much about that. I guess my name
Oh,
is
I'm sure
Doc.
that's why people have logged on this morning to listen to us talking about your performances of Champagne Supernova.
Right. Maybe yes. Maybe you're speaking the truth, Tony, making me happy. But my name is Dr. KK, and I'm the innovation officer at Inago. And I have Tony, who will explain what he was doing all this week because he's just come in from the Frankfurt Book Fair and is actually quite, I guess, I don't know, tired and maybe sleep deprived.
Croaky is the word.
Yes,
Croaky. No,
yes,
I
Tony.
this was my 28th or 29th visit to the Frankfurt Book Fair. I've only missed a couple. The COVID ones I missed. For those of you who don't know, the Frankfurt Book Fair is, I think it's the world's largest
Yeah,
book publishing event
yes.
or publishing event. It's not as big as it was. I think they used to boast of having something like 1 million visitors over 5 days. I don't know if it's true anymore, but it's a big event. It's a very busy event.
Right.
And I got back late last night, and the air conditioning in there, Frankfurt is always dreadful. So as a result, my voice has got a bit croaky. So, but anyway, hello everyone. I'm Tony O'Rourke. I'm VP for Partnerships when I've got a voice here at Inago, and welcome to PubShorts. And if you don't know PubShorts, this is our weekly, regular, more than weekly, twice weekly sometimes,
Yeah.
episodic podcast where KK and I talk about stories relating to the world of research, whether it's policy, funding, research itself, communication, scholarly communication, anything that would be of interest to the researcher. And we like to give the episodes, and we like to give them a theme, and that theme is always related around a song. And today's theme is one of celebration. KK mentioned that he's chosen the song Champagne Supernova by Oasis as the theme and title of this episode. A great song, right? Regardless of whether we've chosen it as a theme or not. And we've chosen it because I say this episode is about it's a reflexive celebration. And we're looking at the celebration of the Nobel stories, celebrating scientific brilliance, the mysteries of discovery, and the human spark behind every breakthrough that really deserves our full celebration.
Excellent, Tony. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And talking about human sparks, something that might get lost in all the AI. And that's what we are going to talk about first. We are starting this episode with the first story, which is the Wiley AI explanations report. This is a brief report, key insights mini report, which was published, I think, a couple of weeks ago. It came out just, I think, at the end of September, if I'm not mistaken. And so it basically is a survey, interview survey, and to assess how researchers across the spectrum of academic research are using AI. And there's some startling numbers, there's some great findings. So researchers, Tony, are using AI more. Not surprising, especially for research and publishing tasks. And it
Yeah,
is the percentage of researchers using is of 62% as compared to the last survey. I think it was 2024, which was 45%. So this is the number that we are talking about. Researchers from APAC, early career researchers, and physical sciences, researchers in physical sciences, are leading the AI adoption. That's
yeah,
interesting. ChatGPT dominates the uses, the applications or the things, the AI tools that they're using, but there's a wide distribution about it, and that is likely because of accessibility. Everybody has apparently access to ChatGPT, so that's the information presented here. Now, only 25%, Tony, have tried specialized research AI tools, mostly because of the lack of awareness regarding this. So there needs to be more education regarding it. And researchers are using a mix of free and paid tools, like dedicated tools as well. So that's a graphic right here. And more AI use has led to more caution, which is a good thing, at least from a researcher point of view. People all need to be skeptical, as you rightly said. The
yeah,
human spark has to be maintained, and which is also linked to data privacy and in terms of maybe inaccurate information from the AI we refer to as hallucinations or fabrications. And but that doesn't mean that AI is failing. 85% researchers say that it improves efficiency, and 70% say that it helps with brainstorming. That's some good record numbers, and optimism
That's
is
that's massive, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. And there's some optimism as well overall. 83% expect AI to be widely used in their field in the next couple of years. And researchers are clamoring for institutional support in terms of them being educated. And that's the main theme. And that's also something that we are passionate about as part of Responsible AI. We need
Yeah,
researchers to understand how they can use AI, and also what are the responsible ways in which they should do it. And the
yeah,
final couple of points, Tony, before I hand it over to you in terms of your thoughts, would be that medicine and social sciences researchers are especially held back because of a lack of training. And there's strong demand for transparency. Researchers want authors, editors, and reviewers to disclose AI use clearly. The disclosure point is also
yeah,
coming up. And finally, publishers have a big opportunity to lead in the guidance of disclosure, as well as trustworthy AI integration, because they are some of the sort of leaders in terms of AI tools being integrated into, for example, manuscript submission systems to enable screening. And so they need to communicate all of that. And what are the repercussions for, let's say, the authors and peer reviewers or editors? All of it. I think it is such a wonderful piece of information or a document that you can learn a lot from, especially in 2025. Your thoughts
yeah.
now? Yeah.
Only to say, the thing that's been very clear from the last few conferences I've attended
Mm-hmm.
is there is so much more AI literacy out there now. So when you're talking to publishers, when you're talking to senior managers, as well as people lower down the chain in the publishing organization, there's not just awareness that AI exists, but awareness of the benefits and tools that are out there. So people are talking specifically about certain LLMs and SLMs much more readily and much in a much more informed way
Right.
than they certainly were even a year ago. And that's only going to, I think that's only going to improve over time. And so as user expectation and knowledge grows, I think so will the implementation of AI tools absolutely improve and increase.
Right. Could you also put this in perspective of the responsible AI campaign that we've launched in terms of, sort of getting behind researchers in terms of publishers
Oh
needing
yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So the responsible AI movement is, as KK sort of alluded to earlier, it's our attempt to try and establish a standard is too strong, but it's to establish some ground rules about, what is good practice around the use of AI. And we want there to be almost like a common framework for researchers to adopt, for funders to consider, for publishers to consider, in terms of how AI should be used, and particularly around how AI should be used in scholarly publishing, and the need for transparency and openness.
Mm-hmm.
And we're asking publishers, we're asking universities, we're asking researchers. We recently had another senior academic in Japan, for example, publicly support the movement. So it's really just about setting standards. It's not about a product. It's not about Inago. It's about the process of using AI in scholarly communication and establishing standards for that.
Excellent. So, where can they find, if somebody is interested in knowing more about responsible AI
Oh,
movement?
they just need to search Responsible AI Movement in Argo, and you'll be taken directly to the page on the Inago website.
All right. So from one survey, we move on to another, and this is from this is an article published in Nature. Nature has conducted a survey on PhD experiences in 2025. So yet another survey result. It discusses the things are changing from especially the PhD scholar environment, thanks to the stuff that is happening, the developments in the US. So this global survey of 3,785 doctoral students reveals that satisfaction has improved since the pandemic. So we start off with some very good news. And however, issues like harassment and insufficient supervision are still prevalent, which I guess it'll take some time for things to improve, at least in that sense. I would expect harassment to remain longer, maybe improved mentorship would be faster. And money, politics, and technology are significantly shaping the PhD journey. And that's what I alluded to, because of the political climate especially in the US is a significant worry for many of the doctoral candidates out there. And Tony, finally, AI tools are being adopted, but students express caution about their impact on critical thinking and reliability of the
Yeah.
output. So this is the main sort of key points from it, and this I'll focus on this particular infographic. Are you surprised, especially considering that we just had the Wiley explanations study results as well?
Well, I'm pleased that there's increased. That sort of satisfaction levels are bouncing back. I'm still concerned they're not at the levels that they were, and they may not be for some time. But no, it's positive to see that they're bouncing back.
Yeah. And so this also covers. So we are covering researchers we are considering researchers as who have finished their masters or PhD work and then moved on to doing actual research in labs and etc. So we have that end of the spectrum covered in the previous survey. Now we have just before that stage just before that also covered here. And in general, AI adoption is obviously the way forward. And I like the fact that there is some skepticism, that there is some responsibility in all these researchers and as well as PhD doctoral candidates in terms of evaluating AI use, and that's exactly what we want. Now,
Yeah,
Tony, moving on to an article from PLOS. The interesting stuff. Wait, I'll move to the right article. So this was published in Research Information, which is another sort of news source that I've increasingly started relying on in terms of sourcing.
yeah.
And this is titled "Redefining Publishing: Why We Are Moving Beyond the Article." I think, Tony, if this might ring a bell, because we have talked about why we need to go away from PDF. So it hints at that, and it's written, Tony, by this guy, Ian. Okay.
Hirnaskiewicz.
Yeah.
Is it Hirnaskiewicz? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Hirnaskiewicz,
Do
possibly.
you consider him Russian or Polish?
Polish. I think
Croatian,
Polish.
maybe. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Croatian, Polish, I think.
Yeah.
Possibly.
All right. So he's the director of Open Research Solutions at PLOS, and he has suggested he uses examples of persistent identifiers like DOIs. So that's the first thing that the article mentions, and ORCID to show how community collaboration can drive innovation in scholarly communication. And he points out that recognizing all research contributions, not just articles, and that's a key point here, is the next necessary shift. And I want your opinion on this. So PLOS apparently has launched something that I'm fascinated by. It is aimed at redefining research publishing and aiming for models that prioritize equity, recognition, and sustainability. And this project includes the developing a knowledge stack to make research outputs more visible and credited across their life cycle, moving away from the article processing charges itself. So I mean, I don't quite understand that mix, but basically it is beyond just the article. It is a knowledge stack itself. So this
how are they defining knowledge
yeah
stack?
so this proposed knowledge stack aims to create a more complete record of the research, enabling better evaluation and reward to particular contributions benefiting early career researchers. So I think that involves all the related research, like how things would be, all the data and the information related to the research in the paper, and that is what I understand what it is. So let me see if I found anything more. So I don't think I was able to find more details, but anyway. Maybe if we find something, we can talk about it. But what are your thoughts on? I mean, we've discussed the PDF. The static PDF is no longer the way that things should be. That's we agree on it. But what do you think of this new sort of development?
I'm not sure. I do agree. Actually, I mean, the PDF. Yes, the PDF doesn't have the functionality that I think a lot of future-thinking publishers and researchers might want and expect. And and increasingly, we're seeing HTML being used very well in order to deliver beyond just that flat PDF. The PDF is there because it was found at the time that researchers want to read journals online in the same way that they read the printed journal. Now, the real where it is going to change, because how many researchers coming through the system today doing their PhD for the first time even open a printed version of the journal, but they feel comfortable with that kind of book style, journal style format. I mean, and I think I mentioned in the previous episode 20 years ago when I was at the Institute of Physics, we were talking about the future article, the article of the future, beg your pardon, and what sort of features, what kind of content should it be delivered? The living, breathing article, the fact that it's going to have links to data, the fact that it'll have video embedded in it, and perhaps live commentary, or even like open real-time peer review commentary. So that's not unusual. But I think what is changing is I'm now, I think more than ever, starting to see kind of that move away more from the PDF and a greater expectation for more types of content and services to be delivered. So I'm curious to see what this knowledge stack will contain. because there is value in offering more than just the results of the article. You know, if you can provide some background, if you can provide interviews, you can provide data, you can provide other types of information that supports the final findings, or maybe the evolution of the findings, then bring it on. Let's see what it looks like.
So what I understand from reading the last part of the article is that it is not yet finalized what this could constitute, and they are seeking guidance from the community. And this is the paragraph which says that. So they are collaborating, or they expect people from institutions, funders, and researchers and infrastructure providers to sort of help, sort of guide them to create what this knowledge stack is. So my hunch is right, I believe, but they have not finalized it.
But
And
listen, I hugely respect PLOS for doing this. They kind of not effectively invented, but they established the first super journal with PLOS One.
Yeah.
You know, they're prepared to take the kind of I won't say risk, but calculated sort of risks, perhaps is the best way of describing it, for the benefit of the community.
And I met somebody recently in one of the SSP committees from PLOS, and I would like to sort of ask this question if they have more information, and if suppose I find something, I will definitely share it. And
share with everyone that watches PubShorts. Yeah.
Yes, yes, right. And moving on to a related series of 3 news announcement, I suppose. The biggest conference, I suppose, would you call it, SSP annual meeting? So we have the call for proposals for the 48th annual meeting, which is happening in May of 2026 in Chula Vista, California. So, Tony, are you planning to attend SSP annual meeting?
As of today, yes, I am.
Yes. So, proposals are being requested or accepted in terms of educational sessions, industry breakouts, posters, and 5-minute industry previews. So these are the places where, you know, if all I guess stakeholders can present whatever they want to present and have networking and everything. So Tony, I think last year in the sense when we talked about the SSP conference, SSP annual meeting this year, we talked that we might be meeting at Baltimore, right? If I'm not mistaken. So that did not happen. Maybe the next year would be the year that we meet at an SSP conference. So submission deadlines are already there. So the theme of the conference, if you're curious, wait, let me just find the information. It is navigating paradox. It addresses the adapting current industry challenges like funding cuts, distrust in academia, AI's impact, and peer review strains, while upholding the integrity of scholarly communications. So this should be our tagline. The PubShorts is tagline as well. We are also navigating the paradox through PubShorts, because this is exactly what we talk about. Now, moving on to the next one. This gives a little more information regarding this. The main key point that I took away from this is that SSP encourages diversity in terms of submissions and representations from people or stakeholders, or let's say scholarly community members from across the world, from different parts of the world, as well as different, let's say, minorities that are underrepresented, would be encouraged to sort of submit, because that's what SSP is going for, which is an excellent initiative. And Tony, I'm proud to say that I'm part of that initiative as part of the DEI committee in the SSP. So this is something that we are working on. So this is how things are. What do you think so far? Do you think SSP is doing the right thing in terms of encouraging diversity and seeking voices?
I think any organization that encourages diversity and broadening the voices is doing the right thing in my mind.
Yeah. And finally, the related story is also that I think this should be 2026. I think there's a typo here. Submissions are now open for the 2026 EPIC Awards. So, Tony, EPIC Awards are where SSP awards contributions from different categories in celebrating the excellence in, for example, publishing, information technology, and communications. There are several categories like tools and products, publications, marketing, media, and initiatives. And we won an award, a silver award last year, or this year. For
2025, we did.
For the Charlesworth Gateway under the tools category. So there's something to look forward to. Anybody who's creating solutions, or maybe PLOS might win it for the knowledge stack. You never know. And so this is something to look forward to. And so I'm looking forward to all of this. Hopefully, we'll be there at the conference as well. Maybe we will have the first live recording at an event when we meet at the conference. Tony, your thoughts?
SSP is the largest scholarly publishing meeting pretty much in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the exact numbers. It's certainly over 1,000 delegates attend every year. It's always in a different US city every year. I think it was in Canada a few years back as well. I was there, Vancouver, and in my mind, it is the best, or certainly one of the two primary meetings to really throw yourself into the heart of the issues around what are the issues today that are going to affect scholarly publishing over the next 5, 10, 20 years.
Right.
It's a great meeting, and anyone that's involved in scholarly communication, as a publisher, even as a research funder, interested in that process, really can't go far wrong by attending this event.
Right.
The one thing I would say, and I know, funny enough, I mentioned it to I was talking to the SSP management this week, was that it's still quite North American centric. There's a very strong, understandably, because it's based in the US, and I'd love to see more, a greater proportion of visitors from outside the US. But it's quite expensive, obviously, to get across to the US.
Yeah.
But more ways of encouraging visitors from other parts of the world.
Yeah, excellent.
It still gets visitors from other parts of the world. I mean, I go, and lots of Europeans go, but you don't quite see so many visitors from other parts of the world.
Right, Tony, I got information in terms of demographics of SSP, in terms of how many people from different parts of the world, and the numbers are staggeringly low for people from the global south, I'd argue, or from minorities, which is what the DEI committee is trying to resolve by making things better.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of understandable because it's based in the US, and obviously there's difficulties getting things like visas these days as well, or the challenges in getting visas.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are programs that you and your colleagues will be considering that will help encourage maybe funding or or organizations or pricing something, whatever, to encourage more business from outside the US.
Right, that's the hope, and we'll work toward it. And moving on to the next story, this is from STM Publishing News, and it is an editorial title, 90% of science is lost. Frontiers is a revolutionary AI-powered service transforms data sharing to deliver breakthroughs faster. So we are talking about of the first all-in-one AI-powered service for research data, and the goal for this is to transform data sharing to make it reusable and credited. And it includes, Tony, this is the coolest part, it includes curation of data, compliance checks, AI-ready packaging and peer review, and interactive portal certification, and a lifetime hosting. Many of these are things we have touched on as infrastructure problems that the community needs to solve. And I'm very happy that Frontiers is leading this. And the service extends the FAIR principles, which is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable with an open specification for AI-ready data. What do you think so far?
I'm not sure. I think it's good that there's interoperability and ability to retain data, but there's a concern about me in that there needs to be some kind of producer role or some kind of editor role here. Not all research needs to be made public if that research isn't going to benefit the public. And if it's good research and it's proven and it's been validated, and fine. But not all research necessarily needs to be shared if it's not moving the science forward.
Right, and the answer to what you just asked, there is editing. They call it curation, and that is powered by Sense Science, the Frontiers venture behind this FAIR initiative. And eventually, researchers will receive 4 outputs: a certified data package, a peer-reviewed data article, an interactive data portal, and FAIR certificate. Now, I think, look, I understand your concerns. The whole idea is that if suppose research data is going unused, and that's the title, that's what the title is saying, 90% of the data that
I beg your pardon, the data goes unrecognized. Okay.
Yeah. So other researchers could definitely use, or at least study from it, or maybe do some meta-analysis or whatever it might be. The whole point is that data cannot be hidden behind, and by making by curating it and providing access to it, especially machine reading access to it, we are improving the chances of the whole scientific institution being more robust and replicability being the forefront. So I am very excited about it, and I also see your point. I mean, I guess you would change your stance if you think that this is data. Research data is what is now being curated and shared, as per Frontiers.
Yeah, I suppose yes. Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that will remain. We'll talk about it. Moving on to another.
I think we'll come back to that in a future episode. Once I'm less jet lagged from my visit to Frankfurt.
Yeah. So another article from STM Publishing News: AIP Publishing launches the pilot of AIP Fusion, a new model for open science in the physical sciences. So I thought you might be particularly interested in this. So this is a new business model based on services and not articles. And I want you to probably explain to me what that clearly means. And it aims to change how institutions access and contribute to scientific research. And this pilot will involve select institutions and library consortia starting in 2026, and it moves away from the article economy to a service-based model. Basically giving institutions and partners giving unlimited reading and publishing services for a single fee. Sounds a lot like transformative agreements, don't you think?
Uh, yeah, I'm not going to comment on this yet because I don't really understand what the difference is between this and what a regular transformative agreement. I'd like to know,
Yeah.
what additional elements are being added to for it to be defined as a new model.
hmm I understand. Maybe it's just a branding. That's what I thought. Maybe you would have some perspective on it. But you can
Oh, hang on.
start
What it eliminates article processing charges
at the baseline
for
fee. Yeah.
okay, so it's basically it's transferring the model to the institutions. And institutions, so as long as you pay a fee, then the
Yeah.
individual researchers don't need to worry.
Right. And you get
Isn't that what a transformative agreement is?
exactly. That's the
Or at
point.
least an element of that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would call it a branding of a transformative agreement done by AIP, but it's encouraging nevertheless. I mean, we have covered so many transformative agreements earlier this year.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be going for it.
And
So
pricing is based on the institution's past publishing activity and usage.
mhm,
I mean, in all fairness, I was doing this 15 years ago when I was at the Institute of Physics. We were looking at pricing that was based on usage, based on publishing activity, based on their historical subscription
yeah,
values. I mean, I gave papers at conferences about this back in 2006.
there you go. You are a pioneer. I've been telling you this. So
Well, there you go. But the thing is, but I'm sure ARP are doing something specifically around,
mm,
maybe the way transformative agreements is being branded and presented to the institution. Maybe they're doing things
yeah.
around copyright, for example, which is unusual. And I'd like to look into that in a bit more detail.
Yeah, and we can do that. You can come back to with your thoughts.
Yeah,
Moving on to the last main story. This is unfortunately related to what's happening in the U.S. Scientists lose jobs and grants as U.S. government shutdown takes toll, and this obviously there's some details regarding it. Hundreds of employees, Tony, at the CDC have received layoff notices.
yeah,
Federal laboratories have suspended operations, and grant applications are not being processed for agencies like the NSF. So
yeah,
unions are filing lawsuits against these layoffs, and specific programs like the National Health and Nutrition Examination NHNES, is that right? NHANES are affected, and the Department of Energy is cutting billions of energy projects, including renewable energy research. The Smithsonian Institution, for example, and the NOAA laboratories have closed. That's not nice. And agencies like
wow, wow,
yeah,
wow, wow.
NIH and NSF have halted new grant awards, and the shutdown, the government shutdown, is also disrupting federally funded research at universities. So a lot of negative stuff. So this is a representative image. It is a sad, I guess, sad day for U.S. science, but we've been seeing that over the last several months. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, these of US government shutdowns is not are not new. I
Mm-hmm,
mean, this happened not just with the current administration; this also happened with the previous administration.
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to comment specifically about this shutdown, but I don't understand why there isn't more of a disconnect. Why there isn't a disconnect between how government runs and how it's funded. This shouldn't happen.
Yep.
You can't suddenly stop a country because effectively one Democrat senator or Republican group disagrees with another, and therefore, they can't reach any sort of form of consensus. I kind of struggle with that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll hope for things to change very fast for U.S. Researchers and U.S. research.
But they're saying this is going to be the longest ever.
Right. Let's see.
And that affects every layer of U.S. society. I mean, everyone gets affected by this.
Well, from this saddening news story, let's start celebrating, opening our champagne bottles, because there were a slew of Nobel Prize announcements, starting with the medicine one, Tony. So we are firmly in the quick hits. We just have to talk about Nobel Prizes, at least the positive side. So medicine Nobel goes to scientists who reveal secrets of immune system regulation, and there's a little bit of an Inago connect here. I hope you recognize it. So the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine was awarded to Mary Brunkow, Fred Ramsdell, and Shimon Sakaguchi. They discovered regulatory T cells, a type of immune cell that prevents the body from attacking itself, and it's crucial for immune sensitive therapy. And Mr. Sakaguchi discovered regulatory T cells in 1995, and the two other researchers, Brunkow and Ramsdell, identified the gene FOXP in 2001, and the combined contribution is what is being celebrated with a Nobel nomination. So, are you aware of the small tie with the Inago brand?
No, tell me what it is.
So we have interviewed Mr. Sakaguchi in 2021 as part of an interview series, and
Oh
so
yes,
we're very proud to
I
have that.
remember.
Yeah. So that's a connect, and we've been we're excited for Mr. Sakaguchi as well
And
as.
where, if anyone wanted to watch that
Yeah.
video of the interview, where will they find it?
They can actually, I don't have the right URL. You can search for on LinkedIn. I know that we have posted about it, but I think you can also search for interview, and I think we have partnered with Clarivate for it. So put Clarivate and Inago along with Sakaguchi in the search, and you will be able to find it.
Actually, I don't know if you recall, KK. Several years ago, during COVID, we ran an online conference called See the Future.
Yeah.
And as part of the See the Future conferences, we always had a keynote speaker who was a Nobel Prize winner.
Yeah.
And we had two Nobel Prize winners in two years successfully, Richard Roberts and I can't remember who the second one was now.
Yeah.
But there was we had two Nobel Prize winners talking about their experience and what researchers in the future need to be considering if they want to think about hoping to get a Nobel Prize at some point.
Right. And as a smoothest transition in Nobel Prize would be to transition from physiology and medicine to quantum physics. And so we have groundbreaking quantum tunneling experiments credited with the award. So this time it is
it's John Clark.
Yeah, John Clark. So are you familiar with it?
I think I've met him.
Oh, wow. Familiar with him, that is. Michelle Devoret and John Martinez. They demonstrated quantum physics at the macroscopic scale, and their research has been crucial for the development of quantum computing. And the experiments that they conducted delved into quantum tunneling and superposition. These are a couple of terms that I'm a little more comfortable in terms of pretending to understand a little deeper, thanks to my recent physics, learning through books, popular science books. What do you think? I mean, are you thrilled at the potential contributions that these scientists have caused for us to get closer to quantum superposition and tunneling and maybe quantum computing?
Listen, I worked in physics publishing for 12 years, and I still don't understand physics, and I'm not sure I ever will. But I'm delighted that three such excellent and eminent scientists their work is recognized. And I think quantum tunneling is a super exciting area of development, particularly for supercomputing.
Oh, wait, I think I might have misspoken regarding the first researcher. I think the researcher that we interviewed is actually this researcher, this Japanese researcher. I'm very sorry, I mixed up my Japanese researchers. Chemistry Nobel for scientists who develop massively porous super sponge materials. So this is shared by Susumu Kitagawa, Omar Yagi, and Richard Robson. And this Mr. Kitagawa is who we interviewed in 2021. I'm very sorry for my lapse in terms of misrepresenting who we interviewed. And so they developed something called as metal organic frameworks, which I'm also familiar with in terms of the research papers that I've seen. These are abbreviated as MOFs, and these are described as super sponge materials because of their immense porosity and allowed them to capture and store molecules like carbon dioxide. So this research was pioneered in 1980s by Mr. Robson here, Richard Robson, and Mr. Kitagawa and Yagi in the 1990s and 2000s continued it. So this is the sort of our little sort of touch in terms of claim to fame, because we have interviewed this researcher. So
it must be an extraordinary process deciding who should be recognized for the Nobel. I mean, this work. I mean, even I've heard of this metal organic frameworks thing as being sort of changing the way chemistry is being done. I suppose my question is, why does it take so long for them to be recognized? Maybe it's because there are just so many potentially worthy projects. They need to stack them in some way.
Yeah, and the backlog. I mean, it's the same thing. As in, it is a sort of lifetime contribution. I guess you get the Nobel usually once, and so you have to have that sort of long term
It's a
contribution.
lifetime contribution
Yeah,
rather than just a recognition.
yeah.
That would make sense then.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, moving on to the last Nobel prize announcement. This one in economics. So three researchers again shared a Nobel in economics for working on how technology drives growth. It's very relevant from the point of view. So these researchers are Joel Mocker, I guess, Philip Aglon, and Peter Howitt, and they won for their research on how innovation drives economic growth. Their work explains the link between technological progress and sustained economic growth, and the recognition is for their work helping to ensure growth is maintained maintained and steered beneficially in terms of how what contributions are there for the research. So this is excellent, and it's also relevant in the context that the award comes as AI becomes a significant economic force with potential for a boom. So I thought this was fascinating. All the four groups of researchers, I guess, have contributed meaningfully in terms of advancing, and I'm very happy. I haven't heard any such Nobel Prize announcements, but if there are, we'll cover in the future episodes, Tony. So, what do you think?
Well, I think there are only four, aren't there? Physical sciences, medicine, economic sciences,
literature, don't you think?
chemistry.
I don't.
Literature and peace. But I'm just saying in terms of the
Yeah.
hard sciences,
Okay.
they're the ones.
Yeah. Right. All right.
I know there definitely isn't one for maths.
Yeah. All right. So, Tony, when do you think an AI would be credited with or recognized for and with the Nobel Prize? Do you have an answer for it?
Well, if it's a lifetime performance award, then considering the life of an AI, perhaps never. In the year infinity.
Okay, so we got a news feature from AI. This is the last quick hit that we have. Will AI ever win its own Nobel? Some predict a prize-worthy science discovery soon. So the potential is being discussed, and the whole point is that the entity that is being awarded Nobel needs to have done the research, and that's a way things are moving forward with AI being co-scientists.
At the moment, unless I understand it rightly, it's not the institution that's awarded;
No,
it's the individual.
Yeah.
So and AI is not an individual. So if they introduce an award that's aimed at the institution, then perhaps an institution that's created an AI which will create sort of groundbreaking research may be recognised. But I don't believe that's possible at the moment.
Wait. So there's a little bit of a misunderstanding that you have. The Nobel prizes are handed out to people who are contributed in terms of scientific discovery. So they are scientists or researchers. AI,
individuals.
Right. AI itself can
not institutions or not. Yeah. Sorry.
AI can be a co-scientist. We have talked about it. And if suppose AI eventually becomes or comes up with some discovery or some invention that is deserving of it, as part of being a co-scientist in a group of scientists, should AI also get a Nobel Prize? AI in the sense that AI model, not the company that makes the model, the AI itself. So this is a question.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just saying until the point where the AI is identified as a personality, as an individual, then how can it be awarded a prize?
Right, but by 2050, as the article says, the Nobel.
Well, that's very good. Very. I probably would have retired by then, so maybe.
The Nobel Turing Challenge envisions an AI system that, without human intervention, combines the skills of hypothesis generation, experimental planning, and data analysis. Well, I'm going to vote by 2050.
So do you think it will?
Yes, it can, because AI can be a standalone scientist. And scientists are awarded Nobel. So,
well, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say, no, not yet.
And yes, look at this, 37.3%.
Wow.
Yeah, believe that this will happen. Okay.
Gosh, amazing.
All right. So that brings us very much to the end of Champagne Supernova, episode number 108, where we celebrated a lot of Nobel winning as a scientist, as well as we discussed a lot of other concerns related to how AI is shaping research altogether. And Tony, I do not know if I asked you this. Was AI the leading sort of conversation sort of theme at the Frankfurt Book Fair?
Yeah. And as I said, what I found at the Frankfurt Book Fair, there's much more literacy now and around AI. So, but not specifically AI per se in terms of what it is, how it is, but more work use cases, workflow tools that people are considering, or sort of transformations that people are considering, which include but
Mm-hmm.
not limited to just AI. So yeah, I don't think I had a single conversation
Mm-hmm.
which didn't discuss some element of AI.
Well, that's a sign of the times, and well, if people have to keep up with with the times, they also have to catch up with all the 107 episodes that we have published so far, which is what you encourage people to do right before they go to Frankfurt Book Fair and everything.
Well, the list is getting longer, and it's going to take longer to watch all previous 107 episodes. But if you've enjoyed this episode, obviously please press share, press like, and share with your colleagues, and leave comments for suggestions for future episodes. And you can watch all previous 107 episodes and all future episodes
Mm-hmm.
on our YouTube playlist. You just need to go to Inago PubShorts on YouTube, and you'll find a complete list of our previous 107 recordings going back over a year.
Well, and please do that, and please let us a note. I mean, give us tell us what you want us to cover. Maybe less Nobel prizes, maybe more music. We don't know that, but whatever it is, your wish will be our command. And with that, we bring this episode to a close. And thank Tony and the rest of the team, which helps us put together such content. And we will see you in the next one, Tony. Hopefully, you will have caught up with sleep better.
I doubt it, but thank you. See you in the next one.
All right, bye bye.